They heard and saw the lynchings, but no, it was bad.
Well, most of the men in the Black Panther were fighters. You know, they didn't take too much, but as I said before, they did a lot for poor blacks. You know, they fed them and got clothing. You know, if they had jobs that were way out, they got to work. Somebody would donate a car or cars, and they did a lot of good that way. The main thing was if you had a house and you're falling back on your rent or the bills, they would take care of that.
My name is Lou Jones, and I'm a photographer. I grew up in Washington, D.C., but I moved to Boston in 1969, worked as a physicist in the Boston area, and then decided that I didn't work well in the sandbox with others, and I have never worked for anybody since. Boston, for a young person in those days, was very interesting. There was a thing called busing, and I was right in the middle of that. So Boston is a very racist town, has been for years and years. It claims to be very progressive, but it is to this day a very racist town. And so I was introduced to both sides of the spectrum because it was Washington, D.C. It was the seat of the government, and there was this ability for them to allow its large black population to participate. Growing up in Washington, D.C., I was allowed to go into, now, there were difficulties. I cannot play down the fact how much discrimination was going on. But we could go into restaurants and into department stores in Washington, D.C., whereas literally, because this is one small little city surrounded by Virginia and Maryland, where as soon as I went across the border, and I don't mean having to go hundreds of miles, I mean just a couple of miles, and I couldn't go into a restaurant in that restaurant. I couldn't go into those stores.
Wow.
So there was this enormous dichotomy, and the black community, the black component of that, which was protesting busing, which was going on in Boston, and our inability to go to certain places and be part of the community. So I was very, very political. As a matter of fact, my very first published photograph was in BO's newspaper of a protest I shot of the FBI crashing into a protest and pulling out a Vietnam protester. But got here to Boston, like I said, I was being politicized.
And I didn't realize, honest to God, how much I was blessed until I moved out of my area. Because there's not I don't think there's not a nationality that wasn't in our neighborhood. So just to have that experience and know that we were all in there for together, even though we didn't know it before. We ran the neighborhoods together, the different races.
Do you have any memories from things like that, or?
Oh yeah, we used to have an event in Hoyt Field where the whole community would get together once a year. It stopped over time.